Okay, today we're going to look at combining like terms. We're first going to draw our lines in front of the plus or minus signs to separate the terms. Once you have all of your terms separated, we're going to mark all of the like terms. And then lastly, we're going to combine or group all the like terms together by simplifying them into one term by adding or subtracting. So before we get into an example, let's look at what exactly like terms are. So if I had terms that have the same variable, like 5a and 8a, those would be like terms. We could even have constants like 7 and 10. Those would be considered like terms. I could also have an exponent on my variable, so I could have like 4a squared and 9a squared. Those would be considered like terms. Terms that would be not like would be things like different variables, 5a and 8x. Those are different variables, so those would not be like terms. If I had something with a variable like 7x, but then I just had a constant like 4, because they both do not have the x's, those would not be like terms. Also, if I had like 4a squared and then just 9a, those would not be like terms because they do not both have the same exponent. So these are not like. And the green here are examples of like terms. Okay, so we're going to look at an example, and we're going to look at negative 5a minus 2 plus 3a minus 4b plus a minus 12. The first step is we're going to draw our lines in front of the plus or minus signs. So right in front of this minus sign, we're going to draw a line. In front of this plus sign here, we're going to draw a line. Minus sign, draw a line, plus right in front of it. Now we have it separated into our terms. We're going to mark the like term. So I'm just going to use my pen here, and anything that's the same, I'm going to mark it with the same marking. So I could use like an underline or a circle. Here I have negative 5a. So anything that has a variable of a would be considered a like term. 3a is a like term. This plus a, which remembers 1a, is a like term. Okay, then I'm going to look at this constant. I have this negative 2. Anything else that is just a number by itself, doesn't matter positive or negative. And then I'll get another color here. I have negative 4b is all by itself. Okay, we're going to combine our like terms now by adding and subtracting. So the sign in front goes with it. So we have negative 5a plus 3a. Negative 5 plus 3 would give us negative 2. And negative 2 plus a 1a would be negative 1a, which you can just write negative a. Our b's, we just have the 1, so it's minus 4b. The sign in front of it goes with it. And then I'm going to lastly look at my constants. Negative 2 minus 12 Negative 2 minus 12 would be negative 14. And so remember the sign in front of it goes with it. This would be our final answer. We cannot combine anything else because they're not like terms. So we'll call that example 1. Let's look at example 2 here. Slide this up. 12r plus 5 plus 3r minus 5 minus r plus 10. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw my lines in front of the plus or minus signs. Separate it into my terms, and then I'm going to mark the terms that are the same, that are like terms. So first, start with all my r's. And remember, the signs don't matter, it's just the variable. These all have an r, so those are like terms. My next one that's not marked would be this 5. So I'm looking for numbers that stand alone, which are called constants. The other 3 numbers are constants there. So let's start with our r's. We have 12r plus 3r, which would be 15r, and 15r minus, remember this is 1r, 15 minus 1 would be 14r. Now if I combine my constants, 5 minus 5 is just 0, and 0 plus 10 would be plus 10. And so my final answer would be 14r plus 10. We can't combine anything else since those are not like terms. We're going to look at one more example. If I have 8v squared minus y plus 4y minus 2v squared plus 6 minus 5v. We're going to take our pen or pencil and we're going to draw in our lines in front of the plus and minus signs. And now we're going to mark our like terms. So I have a v squared here. So I want to look for anything else that also has a v squared. The v's would not be alike, just the v squares. They have to have the same exponent. Here I have a y. Underline that in green. This would be a y. Then I have my constants here. I'm just going to use my pencil. The constant all by itself here. And then lastly, I have just a v all by itself. And so that's the only thing that goes with the negative 5v. Okay, I'm ready to do my last step, which is combining the terms. So I'm going to look at the ones that are marked the same. I have 8v squared minus 2v squared. 8 minus 2 is 6. So I get 6v squared. That v squared is just like a little label. Now I'm going to put my v next. So I've used this, I've used this. I have this minus 5v here that stands alone. Now I'm going to go to my y's. I have negative 1y, remember that's like a negative 1, plus 4y. You could also think of it, start with this 4 first, 4 minus 1, which would give us a positive 3y. And the only thing that I have left then that I have not combined is my plus 6. Now I'm just going to glance over my problem. I have everything that has different variables. There's no like terms, so I cannot combine anything else. And this would be my simplified answer.